Jeff is back to interviewing artists and writers on Everything is Awesome. He and his guests cover social issues from a leftist perspective. Check out all his many works at jeffsawesomepods.com. This is an Unspoiled Network podcast. This is Some Spoiled, a Song of Ice and Fire 2, the co-host switcheroo. This weekend's switcheroo is recording on a different day because I lost power. In these chapters, we are covering Davos and Jaime. Davos gets made Hand of the King. Surprise. And Jaime, he's sent on to King's Landing, but Brienne isn't. Welcome to Unspoiled.
Monsters are dangerous, and just now, kings are dying like flies.
I am the king!
Fuck the king.
I love that you welcome everybody to Some Spoiled, and then you welcome everybody to Unspoiled.
Yeah, I do Some Spoiled, and then I'm like, no, but for real, you know who we are, right? Like, I just have to make sure that it's... Yeah, but we're still this other thing. Welcome to the show, everyone. I am Natasha.
I'm Rashawn.
So, Davos's chapter, this whole thing goes a little bit differently than it does on the show, and I wanted to find out how you felt about it. We'll start off at the beginning, but what I really want to know about is the burning of the leeches. Because that's a whole... Yeah.
And we talked about this
situation.
a little bit. Well, I had wondered if we were going to do the thing, like, a couple episodes ago, I was wondering, because I remember hearing, in, full disclosure, obviously I saw the show and I had, like, lots of conversations about shit. I remember that there was talk of Gendry's character on the show being sort of combining elements from this other character that didn't make it on the show. Mm-hmm. And I was curious if that was going to... If Edric... His name is Edric, not Eric, right?
Correct.
If Edric, once he popped up in the book, if that was going to happen to him instead of what I remember from the show with Gendry. And it turns out that is it.
That's it.
Did we get
there's
dick
no,
shot of Gendry?
Seduction.
Oh, yeah. I said dick shot, and then you said seduction because you're more of an adult than I am.
Listen, I've said before about how Brendan said, did you enjoy seeing his dick neck? Because they show, like, that weird V-shaped muscle that goes down really, like, right up until the last moment where they could pull the camera away. To which I said, I really did. Thank you.
I mean, I remember enjoying it. Mm-hmm.
That muscle is a thing for a lot of women. It's not particularly a thing for me, but I get it.
Yeah, it was that fee. Anyway. But this opens with Davos being escorted upstairs, and he doesn't know why he's been sent for.
Yeah.
And this bit with Lord Axel or Sir Axel, I don't remember if that was done in the show exactly this way or not.
I don't think so.
But
I also have to mention Lord Alistair, who really thinks they're coming to bring him down to see the king.
Oh my God. He
just keeps being so embarrassing.
He's just like, yes, finally. Who sent for me? Was it the king? No, it was the queen. She would never leave me down here to rot, etc., etc.
He really fucking thinks he knows.
Oh, it's so sad.
And then when they're like, you're not coming, traitor. Axel's like, take the torch with you.
When they take the light from him and leave him in the dark, even I was just like, that is too much.
That's rude.
Was that called for? And the way he is terrified of it, he's like begging, please don't take the light. Just leave that, you know? And he fucks up and says something like, oh,
God,
God.
have mercy.
Yes. And fucking Axel is like, plural, gods. There's only one God. That's the giveaway, too. You fuck around and say, gods, help me. Throw that S in there. Let everybody know where you stand.
Yep. Yeah, he was not thinking clearly on that one.
That's why I don't call on God in front of other people. I don't need them to know what I believe.
That's a good call. So Axel is like, yeah, Melisandre's going to be there, but she's not the one who asked for you. You're going to go and see the king. And on the way up, Axel is like, so what you're going to do is tell him that he should make me hand, because I have looked into the flames and saw that he sat in the Iron Throne, because I have been given that gift by R'hllor.
Right? I love this fucking...
And I am going to be the one that helps to get him there, but he won't get there without me. So you're going to tell him, or you're going to have a little accident.
I'll tell you what I thought was probably the most interesting bit about this little conversation. Not just the threatening of his taking Davos' life if he doesn't comply, but that Sir Axel doesn't seem to be considering how Melisandre would take the news that he now also can see, you know, the truth in the flames and see the future, and has been given this gift.
I don't know that she doesn't know about it already.
Well, that's the thing. Like, he doesn't really say one way or the other.
Okay.
Like, I would have thought that he would say something a little bit more substantial about, like, either his relationship with Melisandre or how she helped him get to this point, or how they are both of the same mind. You know, something that sort of intimates that they have had some conversations around this. Because otherwise, I would think that she might call him out for being full of shit.
Okay, gotcha.
So I don't know. I just was like, he doesn't seem to be mention anything about how she feels about this, or whether she co-signs this, or whether, you know, like, just nothing at all. And I kind of took that to be like, is he so arrogant that he doesn't even feel like he has to be concerned with her take on this one way or the other? Which is kind of how I read it. Like, oh, this motherfucker just doesn't think anybody can say shit to him about anything at this point. Yeah. He's so high on his own, like, whatever this is.
Yeah, that's an interesting point that I hadn't really considered, because, like, I just assumed, because of the position that he holds, that he was shown how to do this by her, because she showed Stannis.
Well, yeah, her showing Stannis is one thing. Her showing this guy who is not even hand at this point. You know, he's not anywhere near. Like, he's trying to be hand and whatever right now, but it just seems like he's occupying a little bit of a lower status to be comparing himself to be, like, equal to Melisandre.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, he definitely, like, fucking clearly does think a lot of himself. Ugh. And he says to Davos as well, because Davos says, I would never betray the king. And he says, you would. You will. I see it in your face, and I've seen it in the flames as well. Which is interesting as well, because I don't really recall how, like, if that turns into anything or plays out at all.
When this line happened, because right before this, Davos is fantasizing about putting his fingers around her neck, even though he's missing, like, even though they're short, they still fit around her little ass neck. And I read this and I was just like, oh, Davos has got murder brain. Yeah. And then, like, the next page, fucking Axel was like, and I can see it on your face, and I was like, no, Davos has murder face. You gotta keep it in your brain. Don't let it be on your face.
Davos. Keep that shit under control. Yeah, I guess that's true. He's just like,
so like when he's like,
really?
I can,
what?
yeah,
No,
when he's
I
like,
wasn't
I can see it
fantasizing
on
about
your.
strangling her. I don't know what you mean.
So yeah, when he's like, yeah, I can see it on your face. I'm like, who can't see it on his fucking face? It's all right there.
So, yeah, this is when he says, if you are as devoted to his cause as you claim, you will join your voice to ours. Tell him I am the only hand he needs. Tell him, and when we set sail, I will see that you have a new ship.
Mm-hmm.
So he does a little bit of the honey, but then he's like, or you could fall overboard. It would be tragic.
I can't fucking just burn you, but you could have an accident.
Mm-hmm. All sorts of things happen at sea. Who could tell what happened to you?
Mm-hmm. And
this is one of those where I'm like, man, I don't even know that you need it. Like, I don't know that you needed the threat. You could have just told him. I don't know. Maybe he did.
What's so great about this moment is that chair squeak. Sorry, leave that alone. Sorry.
She is a baby. She's a baby with fur and claws, and she is into everything.
She is into everything. I'm not even going to. No, I'm not going to. But she is into every fucking thing. It is. I just had forgotten when you get them this young how fucking boisterous and inexhaustible and just fucking nonstop kittens are. Like, she's 12 weeks old, and you guys, whew.
Yeah, this is why when I get another cat, it's gonna be an old one. I want somebody who's just gonna sit, and when I come over and pet them, they're like, "You're bothering me." Well, all right, you can pet me, but then go away. That's
you can
how
pet me exactly 3 times,
and then I will claw you.
But fuck, what was I about to say? Oh, wait. Kitten.
Oh, I was talking about using honey and vinegar, and that the murder maybe didn't need to be threatened.
Right. Oh, see, what I was going to say is that this Sir Axel has, and this is a recurring thing throughout a lot of characters throughout these books, in my opinion, is people having a fundamental failure to understand the person that they are talking to in the moment. You know, like, just if Axel had any understanding of who Davos was as a man, there's no way he's surprised 2 pages later.
Yeah,
when Davos tells Stannis what he really thinks about the plan.
and
it's just like such a fundamental lack of understanding of who you're dealing with. He thinks that this whole thing is going to work.
Yeah.
You know, which to me is proof that you should not be anybody's hand.
Yep. That's exactly it. He is like so comfortable in his position as a Florent, because the Queen's a Florent, and thinking that is enough and that's all it takes. And it might have been, depending on who your leader is, but that shows that he doesn't understand Stannis either.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. It's so funny too, because Axel's brother is in the dungeons for making this same kind of mistake. But Sir Axel thinks he is so different from his brother and so much better and wiser and smarter and, like, apparently, like, you know, connected to God in such a way.
Yep.
But he's doing the same shit.
Yep.
Coming up with a plan that goes against practically everything that Stannis really stands for and values, and what his priorities are as far as, like, what's righteous and what's the law and what's noble and honorable and all that shit. Yeah. You got to know your audience, kids.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like, his plan is basically, like, as Davos puts it later. Well, I'm going to read it in his words. I'm trying to find the spot where he starts it. Okay. Yeah. He tells Sir Florent to tell Davos his plan, and right away this dude is like, I have to what? I have to explain to him.
I love that moment. The description of the look on his face.
And he is just so. It starts off. I'm getting a little ahead of myself with the king being like, "So, what's the penalty for treason?" And Davos is like, "Shit, oh god." And then it seems like, oh no, he's talking about the other guy.
Yeah.
Then he's like, "So you wanted to kill Melisandre?" He's like, "Fuck!" I love how he just goes up and down and up and down. Thinking he doesn't know. He knows. Oh nope, maybe he doesn't know.
And then, even with all of this back and forth in his head, Davos answers truthfully. Right? Like he's mentally thinking, like, could this be me? Is it about, this, or is it about that? But there's no, like, trying to get out of it. There's no trying to explain why the rules of, treason shouldn't apply to him. He doesn't try to explain himself or make excuses. He just is like, yeah, the penalty is death.
Yep.
And this is why you can't, like, try to bully Davos by threatening to throw him off the bridge.
Yes, yep. Yeah, he's just like, well, if I die, I die.
Mm-hmm. I mean, later on, he told Stannis, was like, I could cut your tongue out. He's like, well, I'm your man, so it's your tongue to do with as you wish. Like, yeah, you're not fucking threatening that.
So here it is. The plan Sir Axel had devised with Salador San was simple. A few hours' sail from Dragonstone lay Claw Isle, ancient sea-girt seat of House Celtigar. I don't know what a girt is. Sea-girt? Do you know what that means?
I do not.
Girt. Old-fashioned term for girth, the measurement around the person's waist. I don't feel like that's like...
Maybe it's supposed to indicate size. Like it's that it's a small little island.
Sea-girt. Literary. Surrounded by sea.
Oh.
So an island?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, why didn't you just say that then?
Well, he literally called the place is called Claw Isle.
Well, then why?
I don't know.
All right, whatever. He just wanted to use sea-girt.
He did. He really did.
Lord Adrian Celtigar had fought beneath the fiery heart on the Blackwater, but once taken, he had wasted no time in going over to Joffrey. He remained in King's Landing even now, too frightened of his grace's wrath to come near Dragonstone, no doubt, and wisely so. The man has betrayed his rightful king. Sir Axel proposed to use Salador San's fleet and the men who had escaped the Blackwater, Stannis still had some 1,500, to exact retribution for Lord Celtigar's defection. Claw Isle was but lightly garrisoned, its castle reputedly stuffed with Mirish carpets, Volantine glass, gold and silver plate, jeweled cups, magnificent hawks, an axe of Valyrian steel, a horn that could summon monsters from the deep, chests of rubies, more wines than a man could drink in 100 years. And he's just like, yeah, so we're just going to fucking burn the place down and make it so that nobody ever forgets what you did. He wants to make them like the Castamere.
Exactly.
Basically.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And Stannis is like, I mean, we could. What do you think, Davos? And Davos is like, first of all, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Second of all, that's a bitch move. Why would you do that? These people fought and died for you, and you're going to go and like clean the mess up by just continuing to kill their families? Mm-hmm. That is what's going to, you think, like, command loyalty in people? Do you really?
I love it so much. She's just like, there are no fucking traitors. No, Davos says there's no Lannisters there. Mm-hmm. And Sir Axel was like, well, we'll find traitors. And Davos is just like, word? Really? That's what we're going to find there?
Though it may be I could find some closer to home.
Oh, my God.
In this very room. Sir,
calm down.
Just
calm down.
Community theater over here. Chill the fuck out. He really thinks he's being subtle. And I'm like, imagining what it's like in Stannis' brain watching this going, this fucking guy.
This guy wants to be my hand.
And you wanted to be my latex salesman.
Yeah, so Davos is just like, no, what you're gonna find there are a bunch of women and children and old men, because all the men that are fighting age, the husbands, the sons, the fathers, they went out into these streets and fought for you and fucking died.
Yep.
And Axel is not, like, done yet, though.
No.
He is going to argue why the people that are left on Claw Island deserve to be murdered and, you know, put to torch and all that. And even he has a line early, I think it's right at the beginning of his fucking speech about his plan. He says something like, the only fucking cure for defeat is victory or something.
Yeah.
And Stannis is like, well, there are victories and there are victories.
Yeah. Yeah. I really enjoy whenever people say there's this and there's this. There's, like, something about it that irritates me, but also I'm like, yeah, but they're right, though. And he tries to be like, they all turned and bent the knee, and Davos is like, his men did what they were sworn to do, which is follow their lord. And he's like, well, some of them didn't kneel. They died. Loyal men. And Davos says some men are stronger than others. It was a feeble answer, and Davos knew it. I don't think that's a feeble answer. I love that Davos thinks it is, though. And because he realizes that not even he knows Stannis so well. And as soon as he says it, Davos thinks to himself, shit, I'm fucking going to lose this argument. That was not the fucking argument to make. Stannis is not one of those people that, like, appreciate the weakness and understand that not everybody is as strong as everyone else. And then, in, like, desperation and recklessness, that he calls it recklessness, he just hits Stannis with the fucking, picture of him, you know, being a traitor to King Aerys with, like, is this you, though? I screenshotted that. I saw it in the news and I screenshot it. You may have had those articles removed, but I got the receipts right here, sir. We all know. And it is a wild choice for Davos to make in this moment. You know, a real, just for like a fucking leap of faith in that he is hoping that he knows Stannis so well that even though this is not the kind of thing you say to your king, he understands that Stannis has such a strong sort of moral compass that he won't be able to deny the truth of what Davos has just said, despite how incredibly inappropriate it is to say that. You know, so he's really, like, stepping out on faith when he says this. And Sir Axel is just fucking idiot.
Oh my God! How dare him! Treason! He yells.
He calls it treason, and I'm like, I really want to know what you think treason is, sir. Because
just throwing that word around all willy nilly.
You know, like, it's just being mean. I guess. Fucking cancel culture run amok.
Oh my God! I saw a post from some page I don't even fucking follow, and somehow just showed up in my feed because, like, based on other shit I like, and somebody who I don't know who they are, from some band that I've never fucking heard of, has a guitar and had it painted so that it looks like the red Coca-Cola font and brand, you know?
Okay.
The white letters on the red background and that weird cursor front Coca-Cola uses. And it says something like, fuck cancel culture, something along those lines. And it had like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments. And I only went into the comments because a friend of mine commented. And the comment section was like chef's kiss. It was the complete opposite of what I expected.
I love it.
It was just everybody dunking on this band and just, like, you know, just fucking ripping them to shreds. It was so beautiful.
Oh, that is just so delightful. Look, I'm not going to even pretend, like, people equate cancel culture with a different thing that I think we should kind of look at a little bit, which is the weird mob mentality of, like, the villain of the day on Twitter. that can happen where people just decide, okay, here's who we're going to hate on today, and all of my tweets are going to be either about this person or retweeting other tweets about this person. And like sometimes it is very aggro in a way that it's not a big, they weren't being transphobic or homophobic. They just said something that's like kind of, really? You really just said that out loud, that's what you're like? But cancel culture isn't even real. Can we just all agree that it's not real?
My like favorite comment, and it's one that I've seen in a while before, but it always makes me laugh. It's the fucking, it's only cancel culture if it comes from the Cancel region of France. Otherwise, it's just sparkling accountability.
Yay! Thank you. That's the one. But yeah, I just, it's like Dave Chappelle going up on stage and this like crowd of people cheering for him, and he goes, if this is being canceled, sign me up.
Oh my God.
I mean, I feel like that pretty much just says it all. It's
really
there.
Does. It really does. I'm not even going to spend time talking. He was back in the news recently again because of the brouhaha that happened to his alma mater.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess Netflix decided to release like I don't know, I think like a 30-minute bit of him doing what I guess is air quotes stand up about the situation. I fucking can't even with him anymore. And I just used to, I mean, we all did, you know, of a certain age, you know, pre whatever the fuck this is, Chappelle, you know.
Yeah.
Just fucking really, really loved him. And it just has been so completely disappointing to see what he's decided to do and be. Oh, indeed. Fucking gross. But
it really seems like comics have like a shelf life, and once they get too famous and too rich,
yeah,
they just completely lose touch with everything that actually made them funny.
It's true.
You know?
It's true.
All their priorities shift.
Yeah. There's only yeah, they generally don't age well.
Yeah. Anyway, how did we get here? Oh, I said cancel culture because
you did. It's your fault.
It's my bad. So he tells, he being Stannis, is like, man, put your fucking knife away and get the fuck out of here. And he's like, well, but go and give me Melisandre. And Stannis then turns to Davos and is like, you know, I could fuck you right up.
Right. She always fucking tested. You are, make a Chappelle joke, you are a habitual line stepper.
Yeah, that is basically what he's saying.
You have always fucking just pushed it, sir. Always. You have always presumed on my forbearance, which I really like the way that's such a great line. But this is what you asked for, Stannis. This is exactly why you brought him up from the dungeon. The first thing you said to him when you saw Davos is that you missed him and you missed it, that he always gave you good and honest and thoughtful counsel. So really, this is what you are paying for.
Yep.
And
it's like your therapist just telling you shit, and you're like, "Man, I gave you money so that you would just
right.
cheer me up.
I am paying for this." And Davos, again, because of who he is and how he knows Stannis, and then also it's not just that he knows Stannis, because sometimes you can have a very deep, truthful understanding of a person and use it to manipulate them. Right?
Oh yeah,
Davos isn't really that. You know, he is, I believe, 100% genuine in his admiration and loyalty to Stannis. So when he says, "I'm your man, it's your tongue to do with as you please," he fucking
sorry. There's got to be some fix out there, though.
He really means that shit, right? He is being 100% sincere. And the funniest thing to me about this moment is that the next line is Stannis going, "It is," he said, calmer. He calmed right the fuck down.
Yep. Yeah, Stannis is one of those that I kind of like. There's parts of this that I really understand and like, you know, because I can be extremely rigid about some things as well, and I can understand where he's coming from. But then there's like, he's still kind of in denial about stuff, because at one point, excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. At one point, Davos says something about how Melisandre killed his brother, and he's like, she wasn't there. What are you even talking about? And I'm like, man, you fucking know what happened.
Weird moment, right? How does he not know what really happened? I either probably completely misremembered that from the show, or didn't really glean from the books that Stannis does not seem... I think we talked about this, about whether Stannis knows, and I think at the time, I even was just like, but how does he not know, though?
Yeah, and he's having these nightmares that he's killed his brother, and wakes up and says, but when I woke, my hands were clean. And Davos is like, what the fuck? He hears him, and it's just like, I don't like this.
Yeah, so and now all this time later, he still doesn't know. And, I don't know. In this moment, I guess there's like too much happening in this moment to relitigate the Renly thing. But when Stannis is like, no, she was with me. It couldn't have been her. They move right past that into us finding out that it was actually Melisandre who told him to bring Davos up from the dungeons.
Right. Yeah.
So we kind of like, we don't really get to dig into the whole Renly thing. And I, personally, because I can't remember, I am wondering, does Stannis end up dying without ever knowing the truth? Or does he find out at some point? Because I honestly can't remember.
I mean, I feel like he knows, and he's just
in denial?
Yeah, 100%. I think he knows what she's up to, and he knows what sleeping with her is doing. And
oh, that's right. We didn't talk about how bad he looks when Davos sees him.
Yeah. Yeah, this man has aged, kids.
Yeah. It's like something or someone is sucking the life force out of him.
Huh? Who could it be?
It's a mystery.
But yeah, this, I just have to assume, I mean, those dreams that he was having, where he killed him, but he wakes up and his hands are clean. That's, to me, still in his mind. He's never shaking that. And he has managed to, like, close a door on it, at least for now, and pretend that that's not what was going on. But I think he fucking knows that that's exactly what was going on.
He even says in this moment to Davos that not only was it not her, but that if she could have spared Renly somehow, like if she could have saved him, basically, she would have done anything in her power to do that. And that is just a wild delusion.
Right? Like, she comes up here and is like, give me that little boy to sacrifice. You won't let me sacrifice this little boy. And he's still acting like she's, like, so merciful and only kills when it's absolutely necessary. And I'm like, sir, you had to argue with her about using these leeches because she was very prepared to murder. So what are you talking about?
And the way he segues from this conversation about Melisandre to the boy... With that, it's like a hard fucking segue, you guys. There's no lead into it or anything. 1 minute they're talking about her, and then out of nowhere, Stannis is like, "Oh, and the boy is sick."
Yep.
And Davos is like, "The boy, my son," because that's who we were just talking about.
Yes. Yeah, and he realizes at one point Stannis isn't using the kid's name at all. And he keeps being like, I'm sure young Edric, and is just very much going out of his way to remind him that's a person.
Yeah,
that's a person.
Trying to, yes.
I love Davos so much.
And then we get this, wait, when does he start talking about Robert?
Oh, it's right, like, as soon as he says, it is, and I would have you speak the truth. And then he starts talking about the Iron Throne and that it's not comfortable. It's not a seat where a man can rest at ease. Oftentimes I wonder why my brothers wanted it so desperately. And Davos is like, well, why do you want it? And he's like, it's not about wanting it. It's the law. It's mine. And everybody's just acting like that doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
But
there's a bit. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. It was, I am king. Once don't enter into it. I have a duty to my daughter, to the realm, even to Robert. He loved me, but little I know. Yet he was my brother. The Lannister woman gave him horns and made a motley fool of him. She may have murdered him as well, as she murdered Jon Arryn and Ned Stark. For such crimes there must be justice. And then he talks about Robert, like, handling all of his enemies in this way that made them turn and love him. And he's just like, why doesn't, like, how did he get that to work? And when he says, when he mentions Edric Storm, he says, did the boy charm you? He has that gift. He got it from his father. And he talks about, my royal brother played the fond father on his visit, and there were gifts. The boy would write the Red Keep full of thanks, and Robert would laugh and ask Varys what he'd sent this year. And that for me was just like the whole, you know, a dude getting his wife flowers because his secretary remembered kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that the two moments are separated by some other conversation. There's the moment when he talks about why you would want to sit on the throne and why did Robert want it. He's telling Davos about how hard it was for him to be a traitor.
Yeah.
And how he was torn between, like, his brother and his king. And then he talks about, they talk about Melisandre and Renly. They talk about Edric Storm being sick. And then he knights Davos, makes him his hand.
He was already knighted, yeah.
They had the whole conversation about the table as well. That table that's in that room that Stannis is in.
Right.
It has, like, the sort of the one kingdom and one, like, language and one peace and all that jazz. And then Melisandre shows up and talks about the Great War that's coming. And then they have the thing about, like, how Robert was always able to bring people to his side. It's a weird chapter because you're right. Like, Stannis is kind of all over the place.
Yeah, he's thinking about, like 30 things at once over here.
Yeah. And where's this thing?
That's why it's hard for you to figure out where he said certain things, because there's no real natural rhythm to the conversation, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just like you know, he's really bouncing all over. Like, Melisandre comes after they tell Axel, you know, to basically leave. We don't need you here anymore. But before she shows up, they have the conversation about, like, why does he want the throne? And he doesn't want it, I think is really important to mention.
Yeah.
There's no, like, personal desire that he acknowledges. Just sort of it is, so it is.
Yep.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, there's a vibe for me of just, like, everybody's ignored the fucking rules my entire life. I didn't get Storm's End. It was given to Renly. I didn't, like... And you know what? I've had it. We're going to make people follow the goddamn rules for once. You know? Which I can really understand as a rule follower myself.
Yeah. Yeah. The bit, too, to go back to when he's telling him about how Melisandre is the one that said call, you know, Davos up from the cells. He asked him, are you surprised by that? And Davos is like, well, yeah, because she knows I can't stand her. But Stannis says she knows that you are a friend to me. And I think that is really important. A really important sort of acknowledgement of what and who Melisandre is and how she operates. And also, like, how smart she is.
Yeah, very much so.
And it also, I think, gives us a really maybe small but nonetheless important window into one of the reasons why Stannis values her. Because he sees her put the importance Davos has to Stannis higher than the threat Davos is to herself. You know what I mean? So that is always going to be Stannis' jam.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, she is more interested in what is right than her own self-preservation. That's always going to win with him.
That's true. Yeah, and I'm always, like, personally just a fan of being able to be like, I may not personally like this human being, but I also acknowledge that they serve a function here, and just because of that doesn't mean that they are, like, not worthy of any admiration or, you know, what's the word I want to be listened to?
Validation?
No, like, they're worthy of, like, going to consult about what you should do because their opinions are informed.
Right.
I don't know how to word that though, but yeah, that's something for me that I really try to like keep in mind. And don't like get me wrong. There are certainly times where I'm just like, no, I just hate that motherfucker, and I hope he drops dead, and that's it. But a lot of the time, I have noticed that people will like just decide because they don't like somebody that nothing that person says can be valid at all.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. I got you.
Yeah,
like,
and it's just
like,
that's not real. Yeah. Like, you're not being careful and objective. You're just letting your bigotry against this person basically inform everything they say, and that's not really how it works.
Yeah.
We wish it was, because that makes it very easy, but people are complicated.
It's true. And also, like, it can be difficult to me personally. A person that you care about fucks with, and you're just like, I just do not see it. You know? Yep. But I appreciate that relationship that you two have is meaningful to you and is valued to you. So, okay, I'm going to let y'all rock. kind of, you know what I mean?
Yep, definitely.
And so then they, after they talk about the table and all that stuff, and then Melisandre makes her entrance, we get to the leeches.
The leeches.
And the conversation about the fact that she really is like, this is not the way. You know, I've seen it. You're going to both win and lose. And he is like, I've had enough of your cryptic messages, lady.
I love when a guy is working with a fucking mystic of a god he's never heard of. And he's just like, why are you so cryptic? Sir, you checked the cryptic box on your request form explicitly. That's on you. Figure it out. But yeah, and when he like tells Davos, oh, by the way, your hand now. Davos is like, what? What? I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to. Right? And he's like, good. If you knew how to do this, then you would be a douchebag. So,
oh my god, this is where I am really conflicted. Right? This is where my personal, real world value system clashes with my fiction value system, because in real life, what this sounds like is you'll make a great politician because you're not interested in politics, right? You're gonna be a straight
some
suitor.
Hot water recently, guys,
right? That's what this sounds like. I'm an outsider.
Yep.
I'm not one of those DC cronies. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna drain the swamp,
and I have no use for that in real life. But here, I'm like, you know what? Yes, Stannis. Yes.
Because we're in Davos' head, so we know for sure. Like, Davos is about that, you know? No, he doesn't know about, quote, politics, but he knows right and wrong. And it is a simple situation here.
He's like, I can't read and I can't write. And the first thing I was like, imagine if our former president had realized those were his limitations and opted not to run. If only he had been like, you know what? I can't read and I can't write.
Fake. Oh, God. Oh, talk about people that... Yeah, there's the one that I'm like, no, he can drop dead. I'm fine with that. I've got a list of about 10 people that I'm like, I actively hope they die today. And he's on it.
At dinner yesterday, we were talking about somebody that had passed away, and that person was really not likable and also actively engaged in attempting to harm, somebody in my family. And we were remarking, not like super dramatic, but just like not a nice person, like a backhanded, backstabber kind of thing.
Right.
But he ended up dying, and we were talking about it, and my mother-in-law said something along the lines of she couldn't believe it took so long for him to die, but she meant because he had several health issues over the years where people kept thinking he might not make it, but he kept recovering. But when she said it, my nephew was like, that's not nice, because he's a little kid. But then they started talking about kind of like what a dick he was, and my nephew was like, oh, All right, then.
Oh, I love it. That's not nice. No, it's not. Pass me the salt.
Right? Then you got a little bit of context. Oh, goodness.
Anyway, so yeah, he anoints him his hand to the king, and he stands up and is just like, oh my God, what are we doing? And he says, Your Grace asks for honest counsel. In honesty, we lack the strength for another battle against the Lannisters. And here she comes. It is the great battle His Grace is speaking of. Girl, she has shown it to me in the flames. You saw it? With mine own eyes. After the battle, when I was lost to despair, the Lady Melisandre bid me gaze into the hearth fire. And he saw snow. The sparks in the air seemed to circle to become a ring of torches, and I was looking through the fire, down on some high hill in a forest. The cinders had become men in black behind the torches, and there were shapes moving through the snow. For all the heat of the fire, I felt a cold so terrible I shivered, and when I did, the sight was gone, the fire but a fire once again. But what I saw was real. I'd stake my kingdom on it. And have, said Melisandre. And this is when Davos really starts to be like, okay, I really do not care for the direction all of this is going in at all.
I love the line that it says, the conviction in the king's voice frightened Davos to the core.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you first read it, it feels like, you know, like, is the story he's telling and how strongly he believes it is what's scary? Mm-hmm. Or is it that his conviction is so strong that now Davos believes it's true as well, and that is what's scary?
Right. That's true. So yeah, she's like, we have to act fast, or shit is done for. We're gonna all be gone. Man will be wiped out. And she says, we have to unite under the true king appointed by R'hllor. And Stannis is like, what the fuck is R'hllor even doing picking me? Honestly? We had two brothers who were much better at this shit, and they're dead. And I'm here. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't... And she says, because you are a righteous man. And he then is like, yeah, with leeches.
I love this. Like, what kind of righteous man? I'm so fucking righteous. Look what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And now that we had this conversation about Renly earlier, and the fact that he knows on some level that he is complicit in that, it makes this moment, even though he only calls out the leeches specifically, it really does make this moment of him being like, yeah, I'm a real righteous man, hit really hard.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and this is when she says it will work and not work. And he's like, why don't you just fucking say it? And she's like, when the fire fucking just says it, then I will just say it. But guess what? That's not how it works for anybody. Just give me the boy. And he's like, I already said no. And she's like, it's one little kid against the entire country.
She says she'll wake the stone dragon.
Yeah.
And do you have any notes from Austin, like...
about that specifically?
Yeah, like, because I don't know, like, because Stannis ends up shooting back, kind of like, the Targaryens kept trying to wake the dragons too, and look how that fucking worked out for them. But when she says it, like, I don't know if I'm being like a doofus. Like, is that like what is she talking about?
There is nothing in the notes about it, and we haven't really heard anything specific other than maybe she literally means the stone dragons on Dragonstone will come alive.
Okay.
Which is what I think is meant by that.
Okay, so all right, because I took it really like hella literal when she said it, and then afterwards I was like, "What, Rashawn, is that based on?"
Yeah, it does sort of come out of nowhere. And the fact that, like, Davos clearly doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, or she's talking about, is interesting as well. He's just, like, watching this situation and, like, wait, what are we doing?
I love how he just fades into the background. He's like Homer going into the hedges and just, like, letting these two talk about this shit. He has no idea what's happening.
Oh, my God. That is exactly the vibe, though, isn't it? sees the leeches and is like, I'm a head out.
And this bit too, right? Because I interrupted you, but you were getting ready to talk about how she is just sort of exasperated because she is weighing the life of one child versus saving like the entire realm. And
You've been doing a lot of trolley exercises lately. I didn't take it because I'm not interested. I have enough trouble with real decisions.
My kill count was hella high.
Was it?
Everybody was like, oh, I killed 43 people. I killed like almost 80 people. Whoops.
Damn.
I'd be sacrificing everybody for it to save one person. Oh, well, I don't drive a trolley, so I feel okay about it.
That's one of the best parts of A Good Place is when it's literal trolley exercises
Right.
with the fucking blood spatter and everything. Oh, that is so good. But here she says, like, Edric defiled your marriage bed.
That's
like,
exactly where I was going.
What? No, he didn't. That was Robert. And she's like, well, he has his blood. And I'm like, girl, this is tenuous. What are you doing?
Yeah. Like, she really wants to kill this motherfucker, and she's trying to throw everything at it to get him to agree to it. But yeah, he's not like, this is a line he can't let himself cross.
Yeah. For
like a lot of different reasons. Probably because he's already crossed several lines and doesn't feel comfortable with it. Is hard-hearted as Stannis can seem, he is clearly not ready to murder his brother's child, even if it's a brother that he doesn't hold in high esteem and doesn't have a lot of respect for, even if this kid is just a bastard and not somebody his brother even really seemed to give a fuck about,
Yeah.
He still can't bring himself to cross that line, and just tells her, you're going to have to make do with what the fuck you got. Mm-hmm. You got the leeches, you got some blood, do your fucking job with it. And then, yeah, we get the three leeches with her basically naming fucking Robb Stark, Balon Greyjoy, and Joffrey Baratheon, and throws them into the fire. And she's on some magic shit, y'all.
He seems hesitant about Robb Stark as well. There's a moment where it feels like he's not really wanting to do it.
No. Because he has to do it. She can't do this for him. He has to be the one to hold them, to kind of like crush them or whatever and throw them into the fire, and he has to be the one to say the name. So in this case, his hands are going to literally be bloody.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? Like, there's no fucking telling yourself you're not a part of it this time.
Yep. It's interesting to think about the difference when it's like Gendry that this is happening with versus like this little kid that we've met like once. Maybe twice. I think once though. And, in the show, when it's Gendry, Stannis doesn't give a shit about Gendry. He doesn't feel protective of him in the way that he is of Edric Storm. Right. So it also just hits a little bit differently in that sense.
I don't recall if in the show killing Gendry was even on the table.
It's not really made clear.
It wouldn't make sense for it to be an issue because what you just said is Gendry doesn't matter to Stannis. So, like, I guess Stannis could sort of not want to kill Gendry just because killing some kid is wrong, right? And that could be the ground that he stands on. But it definitely doesn't resonate the way it does with it being Edric.
Yeah.
And him being like, no, you're not killing him. And his asserting, like, no, Melisandre, we're not doing that with this kid. And it feels like much more personal. But yeah, I can't remember on the show if she even wanted to kill Gendry. I feel like that didn't even
I don't feel like it
really
was talked about. It's just like an excuse for her to pretend to seduce him and get topless. So that
oh, that's right. She does take her top off.
Yeah, she gets like
I forgot about
almost
that.
naked or maybe all naked in order to tie him to the bed to leash him. And I'm just like, or you could have just said, you need leeching, the maester said, because you're sick, and probably have gotten him to done it that way too, instead of terrifying him into thinking you're about to murder him in cold blood on the bed. But they needed it to be this fucking dramatic thing.
like really quickly, I think on the show, did they say something about she needed to get him either aroused or fearful because it did something to the blood?
I feel like she said something about the blood just quickening, and I don't know if there was anything like specific about the emotion.
Yeah, I think that there was maybe a little something that was almost like the show being like, we had to do it this way because it made the blood better, you know?
I am so sick of that shit. Do you remember that whole thing when Bronn is like poisoned and one of the sand snakes takes her top off so that his like blood pressure goes up or whatever? Like, oh my God, the lamest bullshit I have ever heard. That show... Guys, ugh. The more I think about it, the more angry I get at all these decisions they made. I swear to God. I thought I had come to terms with it. I had not. But
there's just a lot to deal with in that show. It will
indeed.
So many big things that a lot of the little moments get lost until you're reminded of them, and then you're like, oh wait, that shit happened too.
I wonder if it might just have been that she didn't want to kill Gendry because she was saving him for later. Like there's a bigger thing to do with Gendry. You know?
I mean,
I don't remember though.
To my mind, it's smarter not to kill him because you want to have that on tap to like power all your spells. But maybe it doesn't work that way.
Oh, because my God.
she because she.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying. Do you remember that Buffy episode where they just like install a spigot into a person's throat?
Yes.
Making me think of that.
There was the whole bit too in the alternate universe where they made like a conveyor belt, and like the fucking little spouts got stuck in everybody, and they just like lined up and poured glasses of blood from them. But here in the book, at least, she doesn't seem concerned about needing to keep like Edric on the shelf for future uses. She's ready to like kill him and do this one big spell, which she seems to feel like is all they would need. Like whatever she's planning would work so well that they would need to come back to him for a second shot.
Yeah. Indeed. So that's how that chapter ends. And then we go to Jaime and we have the bathhouse scene. This is really interesting because they did do this pretty close in the show.
Yeah, I had forgotten about this, but it's true. This did happen on the show.
Why do you sound so sad about it?
Because this thing with Brienne in the book is so... Her character, in a lot of ways, is the same, right? But it is shocking for me, and continues to be shocking for me, how different everything plays when she is not as physically attractive as she is in the show. Right? Yeah. And like a part of me is surprised because I think often like, oh, it doesn't really matter, someone's physical appearance. Like that's not like the point of the character. You want to like dig deeper, like, it's so surface, so superficial. But it is such a big part of how people see her, especially with these Jaime, POVs, right? Like the moment where he like gets aroused at the sight of her a little bit, and is then like shocked and like, oh God, I really, it's been a long time since I've been with Cersei because I'm getting hard looking at this, and it just really permeates things in a way that I keep being surprised by,
Yeah.
And it just like when, like in the show, when she's fucking attractive as hell. Like it's not a leap to be like, oh yeah, you see her getting out of the bath, yeah, you're gonna feel a little something, But it's just so different, and I just keep being like surprised by it.
Yeah, I think that's why there was like a bit of a really, because with her and with certain characters in general, their appearance matters a lot more in the storytelling for whatever reason. So while a lot of the time I will be very like, for example, with the Percy Jackson thing, and well, she's a blonde, blue-eyed California surfer girl, she shouldn't be black. It really does not matter. I read the books. I don't think it matters at all. But then there are characters where it's like, Yeah, but the way that they look informs everything about the way the world treats them because of how... And if that's the case, then yeah, changing that is going to really affect the story and the way that other characters should react to them, or whether the reaction seems to make sense in the context of the scene.
Right.
Because it's one thing to just be like, oh, she's very tall and she... like fights like a man, and it's another thing to be like, no, she's actively like repellent, unattractive to the point of being like hard to look at her kind of thing, which is what it seems like he's saying. It's hard to know whether he's being fair or if it's just, you know, his fucking bratty little attitude. But
yeah, and I was almost about to say, well, we've seen other people respond to her in kind, right? We've seen other people have a very similar reaction that Jaime has to her. But then I had to remind myself that those moments are also occurring in Jaime's POV.
Well, no, we have her meeting Catelyn, and we're in Catelyn's head.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So it's definitely, I think, not just Jaime being particularly bratty and gross.
Yeah.
And, yeah, but, so it opens with them in this bathhouse, and she fucking joins her, and she is like, can I just get a minute? Why are you here?
Yes. So he just like, he climbs into the tub, he's got his stump out because it's all covered in bandages, so he's trying to keep it dry, and he's been drinking. And like the drinking plus a hot bath. I don't know how many of you guys have been to like public hot tubs in like apartment complexes or whatever, but there's always a sign that you shouldn't drink while you're in one because the increased like blood flow can cause you to get dizzy and like pass out. It can it really enhance the effects of alcohol to a point that's dangerous. And we start to see the effects of that as his tongue gets loosened and he just starts to tell her about everything that led to his betrayal of the king.
There's a bit where he's describing how she looks because she's, in the tub, and one of the things he mentions is, she's practically flat-chested. Says that she looks like a 10-year-old boy, which is just like, and like just his descriptions of her physically just make her so unattractive. But yet he can't stop fucking looking at her and talking about it. And it's just... But yeah, this is now, we know, because we've been in his POV before, we know what really happened, right? When he fucking killed the king. Is this the first time he says it to anyone else? I feel like he told this story to someone else, but I think that's wrong.
Honestly, this is the first time that we know about it. He has thought around it. But as a reader, you don't get the full story until this point. So
this is the first time we get the full reveal.
Yeah.
Which, of course, is, like, muddled for me because, again, seen the show.
So as a reader, you're, like, aware that there was some other factor that he isn't sharing. But this is the first time that you get to find out the details of it.
And she is just, why doesn't anybody know what you did to save the realm, right? You're low-key kind of a hero.
Yeah, this is interesting because the way that it happens, that they get to this, first of all, she says something about how, like, I hope you drown in this fucking bath. And he's like, well, that's sort of you breaking your oath, isn't it? And they go back and forth a little bit. And he finally is like, no wonder Renly died with you guarding him. And she really takes that hard.
Yeah.
And this is when he starts to get hard. And he also realizes that was a fucked up thing to say. And it was super unfair. And he actually apologizes. But when he apologizes, she's like, you're just fucking with me again.
Yeah, she's basically like, you can only make truces with people who are fucking, not liars. And you're a goddamn liar. Why would I trust you to make a truce?
Yep. And I can't even be mad at her for that one. And she... Yes, would you have me trust the Kingslayer? Yes, the Oathbreaker who murdered poor, sad Aerys Targaryen. It's not Aerys I rue, it's Robert. I hear they named you Kingslayer, he said to me at his coronation feast. Just don't think to make it a habit. And he laughed. Why is it that no one names Robert Oathbreaker? He tore the realm apart, yet I'm the one with shit for honor.
Listen, he just pulled like what Davos did. Just like, you know, there's a lot of talk about what I'm doing.
And this is when she's like, well, he did it for love. And he's like, he did it because he wanted to fuck a bitch and he wanted to rule. And that is why. And she says he rode to save the realm. And this is when the story begins.
Yeah. And he starts by being like, did you know just the other day we fucking burned the Blackwater? Did you know the wildfire will burn on water? That's how fucking that shit works. So let me tell you something.
Yep.
Yeah. And we find out this bit too. I really like this. When he talks about how the Targaryens were all mad for fire, because we've been hearing like over and over and over again through Daenerys, you know, about how, you know, fire can't burn the dragon and all this other kind of stuff. So, I really like how that just really seems to be a thing throughout the line. You know, that as a family, they all have this just weird obsession, low-key obsession with fire.
Yeah. Yeah, and he also mentions here, and this was like, I couldn't find the exact line, but I know Stannis references Damian Blackfire. And this is when he calls Robert the greatest threat House Targaryen had faced since Damian Blackfire. And the Blackfires were a family branch of the Targaryens from a bastard. Targaryen monarch slept with somebody, had a bastard, and they became the Blackfires and grew to a bit of ambition and rebelled. So, okay, he explains the story. She listens, and it's a very long, like, series of long paragraphs where she doesn't interrupt at all and just lets him get it off his chest. And there's a point at which he realizes that either he does something or this entire city's going up. And then he just very matter-of-factly is like, when I came on Rosser, he was dressed as a common man-at-arms. I slew him first. Then I slew Aerys before he could find someone to carry his message. Days later, I hunted down the others and slew them as well. Bellis offered me gold. Garrigus wept for mercy. Well, the sword's more merciful than fire, but I don't think Garrigus much appreciated the kindness I showed him. And there's something about, here's the order in which I killed everybody and then continued killing them to clean up the mess afterward because it needed done.
I love that.
That is really like chilling, you know?
Yeah. I love to, like, I have always thought of it as just this one act that he just killed the king and that was it. But no, that wasn't it. Because when he's telling Brienne like the whole story, we find out that, you know, obviously the king wasn't acting alone. He was acting with, you know, pyromancers, but that there also were other people involved that knew about what he was doing. And that you have to, yeah, of course that makes sense. You have to get rid of them too. I had just never really thought about it. But yeah, he goes and takes care of it so that these other people who were sort of committed and loyal to the king and would have pulled this off, you know, they had to be stopped. And no one knew any of this was taking place except for him, because he just sort of recedes into the background as like the King's Guard, you know. They're just always there, but they're sworn to secrecy, so people just like talk about whatever the fuck in front of them all the time. So, you know, he's been standing and watching this plan, this madness, you know, come to be, you know, as they're getting closer and closer, and they got the wildfire produced, and now it's being stashed all around the city, and yeah, and she's just listening to this whole, like you said, she doesn't interrupt him, I don't think, one time. Yeah,
it's a very, like, riveting tale, so I can't blame her, especially considering that she thought she fucking knew what his deal was, you know?
And then after he's done, it's like everything is too much for him, and he kind of faints, and she grabs him to keep him from like hitting his head and drowning, and she yells for help, and she yells out the Kingslayer, Mm-hmm. And he thinks, my name is Jaime.
Yeah.
And then, he wakes up with everybody. I know you guys. Fucking... My door is shut.
Crotch
I don't know what else to do. And then he wakes up and they're all like tending to him and trying to like get him back together. And he needs to rest. And somebody is like, well, you better get his shit together right now because he's due for dinner. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I love this, that she's just like, I'll take care of it. And everybody's like, oh, good. I don't want to deal with him.
Yeah, and she finishes cleaning him and she gets him dressed. And then they find clothes for her, and it's that hideous pink gown that I remember from the show. It's just, it's the only thing that fits her, and I guess.
Yeah.
I fucking guess.
Yeah, she doesn't have, like, the right body shape for filling out the way this particular piece of clothing is cut. So it just hangs really weird, and just, the whole... Ugh,
the whole thing, it's
so
like
bad.
Entirely too small for her shoulders and her arms. She's way too tall for it. It's cut for like giant boobs, and she doesn't have those. And she's also been through a lot TM lately, so her body is all banged up, and you can see all the bruises and discoloration and wounds. It's just, and then to fucking top it off, the final bit is just like, and pink is not a good color for her.
Yep. Poor thing.
Yeah, it's bad all the way around.
I think a lot of people who aren't particularly conscious about fashion and stuff don't realize what a difference that stuff makes when, like, in your overall perception of a person. I remember this guy who I had been training at this new job, and he clearly had a thing for me. And I was eventually found a uniform, and his entire vibe changed once I was in this uniform because it was not flattering. And I think he just like forgot, like, clothing changes the entire look you give off, and it is difficult because sometimes you don't have a whole lot of choice in the situation. But yeah, I feel for her. She has a hard enough time of it already.
Yeah. So they have dinner at Bolton,
and we get a lot of hints about what's going on, but again, nothing outright. He orders Hippocris. What is that? Do you know?
I don't know. I was hoping that you would have that answer for me.
Wine flavored with spices. Huh, that's all it is. All right, that sounds nice. It sounds good.
How's that different from mulled wine? I guess maybe it's not. Maybe it's just prepared differently. Who knows?
Yeah.
Brienne just has a glass of water. Bless. But yeah, there's a lot of really cagey talk. Mm-hmm. There's Jaime is really kind of like wants to know about Vargo Hoat because he took his hand and feels like there's going to be a real price to pay for that.
Yeah.
And Bolton is just like, well, I just need everybody to know that was not on me. Mm-hmm. I didn't ask for that shit.
Yeah, he's like, would you pass on a message to your dad that I ain't have shit to do with that? And Jamie's like, I'll say whatever the fuck you want if you'll let me go home. That's fine.
Right. And
he also says that he's been offered 1,000 gold dragons for his recapture, and Jaime's insulted that it's so little.
He finds out that Roose Bolton has married a Frey, and we get the little bit about how he chose Fatwalder because Lord Frey offered him, the weight in silver.
Mm-hmm. His bride's weight in silver, so I chose accordingly.
And he has news about the wedding coming up, and this is what is for Brienne shocking because she can't believe that Robb Stark broke an oath, and just as and news of Tyrion marrying Sansa, and again Brienne is just like, he broke an oath. I mean, she just can't get over these people that are just out here saying anything and then doing the fucking opposite. And, just like, where is the order in the world? Where is the fucking, pride and honor? And, she's having a kind of a moment like Stannis a little bit. Just like, what the fuck?
Bless her. Meanwhile, throughout all of this, Jaime's having some real trouble eating.
Oh my god!
And it just keeps coming up that he like can't cut his meat. He can't tear a chunk off the bread. Like
almost knocks his wine glass over.
Yep.
And he's like, this is all this trouble he's having eating. Bolton is like, in the middle of this conversation, we'll call like the cupbearer or whatever and be like, can you please cut some bread for him? Can you please cut that meat for him? Can you please refill his wine?
There's something about the mildness with which he just keeps on being like, oh yes, you need help with this. That feels so like, I don't know. He's just so creepy.
I love too.
Just a fucking creep. That's all.
There's a line somewhere that the way he speaks again is like barely above a whisper. So, which is such a fucking really, it's like a power move, right? Because when you speak like that, you force people to lean in and pay like 100% attention to you. And there's just kind of like, there's a moment where Jaime is like, oh, okay, I see what he's doing here, but I wonder if Brienne can keep up. Does she see it too? And like, she does not.
She does not.
She does not at all. And we find out that like Robb, they're finding out. Like, we already knew a lot of this, but Jaime and Brienne are finding out how poorly things have been going for Robb. And how this marriage, him falling, for this woman and following his heart or whatever, it's been his undoing. And Brienne is like, but Robb has won every battle. How dare you say he's losing?
Yep. Oh, yeah, and this is when Arya gets brought up. And he says, she was lost for a time, it is true, but she's been found. I mean to see her return safely to the north.
Yep.
And this is when she finds out, because she's like, both of them. And he's like, sister's married. That's not happening.
Meanwhile, Jaime is like, ooh, he got Sansa. He must be pretty happy.
Yeah, he does not know what's going on.
I don't know about that, Jaime. Don't know. I don't even know what you were thinking with that, but I guess.
I'm sorry. There's just a moment where Jaime, he says something about how Lannisters lie. And Jaime's like, I'll fight you over that. And he's like, bitch, please. You can't even cut a chunk of bread off for yourself. I do not think they have anything to worry about. And he says, in the North, we hold the laws of hospitality sacred still.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. That was hard to read. But yeah, so this whole thing, I imagine, as a first-time reader, I'm trying to imagine what it would be like to try to put these bits together. And did you, when you read for the first time... Not even a little?
Not even a little. 0%. Absolutely no fucking clue. I like to think if I read it today, I would be better about figuring that out. But at the time, I didn't have the, attention for certain details because I didn't have the practice covering stuff. So it all went completely over my head. Yeah.
I can't imagine reading this for the first time and just trying to be like, what the fuck is happening? Because even in this conversation when they're talking about Hoat, they're talking about how he kind of goes from side to side. And it never do people think when they're reading this people go side to side.
What I really like about this, too, is the fact that it does not seem like George R. R. Martin was trying to make this a big surprise. It feels like George is trying to be like, hey, you see this? Hey, did you notice this? Hey, he says this. Don't you think that's strange? And I'm just a dodo bird who did not notice it at all. But there are times where an author's clearly trying to make there be a big moment, a reveal that's a total surprise. And I don't think really that's exactly what he was trying to do here. And right. I think that he was leaving breadcrumbs specifically to see if people would figure it out, But yeah, so he says something about how you're guilty of treason, Brienne, if you helped him get away. And she's like, I serve Lady Catelyn. And he's like, and what about the king, though? How about that?
Yeah, actually who you serve. But, and that is another one of those moments where we're just like, oh, I thought you were fucking always like keeping your oaths and shit though. You know, it's a lot of, is this you though, in these 2 chapters? A lot of people who think of themselves in a very specific way, right? Mm-hmm. It's to the point where they can't really interrogate some of their own choices and see how they might low-key be hypocritical.
Right.
Know?
Yeah.
Like Brienne is so steadfast in her oath to Lady Catelyn that I don't think she ever stopped for a moment to think that, but I am actually in service to King Rob. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, that's who my liege is. And I'm actively going against his wishes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Once you make enough vows to different people, you have to break it to one to keep it for another.
Yep.
So yeah, then we get a little bit of just let your dad know that I was not the one that cut your fucking hand off. And then, let's see, where is it? Oh yeah. The Riverlands are full of those who would gladly steal you away. And there are a lot of other people out there that have been actively hunting you down. And he mentions, like, Harrenhal being a poisoned gift. And this, like, again, he's, like, dancing around everything here. Let's see. You will leave when Qyburn says you are strong enough with a strong escort of picked men under the command of my captain. And it says, the wench said, provided Lady Catelyn's daughters are delivered safe, whole, and well, my lord, your man Walton's protection is welcome, but the girls are my charge. And he's like, yeah, you don't have to worry about that. Yeah. It ends with him saying, I am going to be sending him on, but unfortunately, I can't do that for you. Yeah. I can't deprive him of both his prizes. If I were you, I would worry less about Starks and more about sapphires.
Yeah. Which is this does not bode well. Mm-hmm. You know, this promise that Jaime made to protect Brienne is like, are we going to try to collect on that promise now? Mm-hmm. Also, Lord Bolton knows that there's not an island full of sapphires, right? I feel like he's smart enough. He knows that that's a bullshit line. Even if Vogt didn't.
Yep. I think that's kind of why he emphasized it. Was just sort of like, I would be concerned about that because if he finds out he's not getting anything for you,
you're gonna have to give him something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It does not look good. And because I am who I am, and my brain is how it works, which is sometimes not well. I cannot remember how this goes exactly in the show. I remember this moment, right? I remember all of this, but like when I try to picture like what happened next week, blank.
Yeah, that's fair.
Until like I get reminded, and then it will come back.
Well, I think that you probably will be like, oh right, once it begins, because it is a thing.
Like in my brain, I was thinking about, doesn't she fight a fucking bear? But and I think she's wearing a pink dress when she does it, but. When you say it out loud, why is she fighting a bear? That sounds crazy as fuck. So,
oh my god. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
So I can't remember. Like, is that what they decide to do with her once it becomes apparent that there are no sapphires, or maybe that happened earlier and it's just like I don't fucking know. So, like you said, it'll be a big surprise for all.
All right. Well, guys, we really do have to wrap up. So really quick, I just want to say hi to new patrons because we're over time a little bit here. We have things to do. So real quick, we have Joy, Rhonda, Mandy Rice, Julian Leo Acker, Michael Kessler, Michael Farrow, and Charlene Abraham.
Yay!
And I wanted to let everybody know that I found a new cool little service that lets you immediately send a short video to new patrons. And if you sign up for the $5 pledge for the month of July, I'm going to go through mid-August, I think. I'm going to send you a little video saying, hi, what's up, and thank you for signing up. That's going to be a little perk that you get, is me just going, hey, I'll be in your emails. So you'll get the little, and I'll be probably with no makeup on and in my pajamas, perhaps, depending on the time of day that you sign up and when I see the message. But it is a really fun little thing that's linked to Patreon, and I didn't know about it until just yesterday. So yeah, become a $5 patron at patreon.com/unspoiled. Thank you guys so much to all of you for signing up and supporting the show. I really, really appreciate you, and hope that you guys are enjoying everything and that you join all of the other communities. We love you.
We do.
So, is there anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
No, ma'am.
All right. Well, thank you guys again so much, and until next week, toodaloo, motherfuckers.
Bye, guys.
Joffrey, Cersei, Walder Frey, Melisandre, Tywin Lannister.
That was an Unspoiled Network podcast.